Hey, we are here emptying out my file cabinet. Another task here for moving. We've been selling tons of our stuff, and it's been really refreshing to purge a bunch of stuff from our house and get rid of it. A lot of furniture and items and things that we have been just getting rid of before our move. We have made over $1,000. I have to add everything up, but we've made over $1,000 on everything that we have sold so far on Facebook Marketplace. It's been awesome. And the next thing that's going is this filing cabinet. I have been talking with moving companies and trying to figure out what we're going to do for moving. There's a lot of different options, and I think I've mentioned before that the moves that we've done have always been just across town. Like the furthest that we've moved is like 30 minutes. And so we haven't ever done a huge move like this, at least not with all these things. Because I moved to Colorado from Illinois, so that's a big move, but that was for college. So I didn't have anything really with me besides my clothes. So this is very different in the fact that we just have a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of logistics with moving across country because it takes a lot more time to get across the country, and you want everything to be safe, and we're moving cars out there, and it's not like you can kind of like do like little trips across town. Oh my gosh, these files. Oh my goodness, I don't know what Wes was doing, putting all of these manuals in one thing. Like it's literally ripping apart. I had to keep cleaning this because the people are coming soon. I spilled coffee on it a little bit ago. And by a little bit ago, I mean like, it's probably been a while. And I was very lazy. I kind of just did a quick wipe, but I'm realizing there's like a lot of little like coffee stains on it, but luckily it's coming right off. So I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of forgot about these. You don't really notice them unless you're like right here. This filing cabinet used to be, you can kind of see on the inside, the whole filing cabinet was this color previously, and then we went and refinished it. It looks much nicer. It's kind of got like this pretty stained gray top, and then we painted it like this white, and it's stayed pretty well over the years. We got it for free from someone. I honestly don't even remember where, but it's just kind of gotten the job done. And we just have so many random files these days that I really don't need a lot of these things. And I'm like, I don't really want to have this giant filing cabinet anyway. I'm not attached to it. So we're selling it for like 25 bucks, I think. Someone's actually buying it today, which is cool. I'm like, not a lot of people use filing cabinets that much anymore. So I'm glad that we're able to get rid of it. We've gotten rid of a lot of things. Armoires that we had, and some chairs and a couch and a kitchen table and all this stuff, and we've been selling all of it on Facebook Marketplace. I love Facebook Marketplace, both for selling things as well as buying things. I love buying things on Facebook Marketplace used. It's like one of my favorite things to get something used versus buying it brand new, because there's a lot of reasons actually all in one. I love saving money, obviously. Like that is definitely one of the biggest factors, is to save money, but also it benefits the other person on the other end because they're trying to sell something and they get a little bit of, you know, money from me, and it gets the thing out of their house. Usually people are really thankful because I know when I'm selling things, I'm like, yes, please take this item. And then also it just helps to reduce waste in our landfills, because you think if like all of the strollers and things that we've gotten have all been used, as well as like the car seats and stuff for Malachi. And you think if I went and bought all of those things brand new, all of those other car seats eventually, like everything like ends up in the landfill, right? And so you think they have to produce more of these things, more of these giant plastic items to then be put into a landfill eventually. So it's kind of nice to feel like I'm doing my part in that sense, I guess. And yeah, so it saves the planet too, I guess. Saves me money, saves the planet. It's fun. It's fun to like look for deals. I enjoy that. Yeah, I think I made a video a while back about how when Malachi, so about a year ago, he's almost a year old, which is really crazy, but about a year ago when we were doing his baby shower, I asked for, I kind of put together a Secondhand baby registry, which basically meant that if people could find items secondhand, I preferred them to get them secondhand to save them money and to save the planet, obviously, from getting more waste stuff. The stroller we're selling right now, the set we've used for almost a year now. It's been a little less than a year. I bought it for $100. It was like one of those stroller sets that it has the stroller. It's like a travel set where the baby car seat like snaps into the stroller, and then it had two bases for cars, so one for my car and one for Wes's car. And so I bought that whole set for $100, which usually they're like several $100s. I found a stroller someone was getting rid of on Facebook for free, so now we have that stroller, and then I sold the stroller travel set for $100 on the other end, so it was basically like I broke even with that, and now we have a free stroller, which is really cool. So saves us a lot of money. I highly recommend trying to do it that way, especially for kids stuff that you don't use very often. We also chose not to get like a lot of things for Malachi in general that I'm like, I just don't find this very beneficial. Like a baby bath. We never got a baby bath. Let me show you the thing that we used. This is really random, but I got this really cool. This is a pop-up laundry basket. You can just kind of pop it up in layers, and we would do this when he was really, really little and put it in the bathtub, and we would just put like a towel over it to make it kind of soft, and it worked perfectly. And now it's not a dumb little baby bathtub that we're like, we used this for like 3 months and now we don't need it anymore, and it's actually usable. We can actually do something with it. Random tangent, but I had to show you that. Hey, we're back. Sorry. We had a little bit of a snafu with the filing cabinet. The girl who came to grab it, she was not able to carry the filing cabinet by herself or help me get the filing cabinet out of the house. And I was like a little frustrated because I'm like, yeah, typically, when you go and buy something off Facebook Marketplace, especially furniture, that you are typically responsible for getting said piece of furniture into the car. So I was not like mentally prepared to get this filing cabinet in the car for her. But she was just not physically able to do it. And I understand. She was like, okay, I can bring my husband back and, we can get it in the car later when he gets back home from work. The likelihood of her actually coming back for a $25 filing cabinet, okay, maybe she really, really needs it. But I just know from personal experience that with Facebook Marketplace, it can be like very, hit or miss when you have people coming and getting stuff. And so I knew if she left my house, she was likely not going to come back. So I was like, we are getting this cabinet into your car. And thankfully, my parents are here. And so we were able to work together because, again, she was not able to help me. And anyway, my dad helped me get it out and into the car. This thing was heavy. Solid wood. So it was not fun to have to move, and I was not expecting to need to move it. And so I usually, when I'm posting things on Facebook Marketplace these days, I'll add things like that are really actually helpful for you as a buyer as well, like when you read the post. So I'll add tips like, plan to carry it out yourself, or like for other things that we have posted, like my whole chicken coop, I've even said like plan to disassemble it yourself and like bring a truck to get it home because this thing is big or it's heavy or it won't fit out the house if you don't disassemble it. So I usually let people know those things. But the other tips of like when you're listing stuff on Facebook Marketplace that are really helpful for buyers that might want to know these things, and so instead of them messaging you and then asking and then they just kind of ghost you, it's better to have some of this information and be totally upfront. So letting people know if you are in a smoke-free or not household, as well as whether you have pets, and if you do have pets, what kinds. Because if you are selling, for example, a rug or something that might collect pet dander, they're probably going to want to know, does this come from a house that has pets or not? And so just like be super clear when you're posting things on like what the actual condition is of your stuff, as well as what your household is like and maybe what has happened to that thing in the past. So like if you have a rug and you're like, children spilled apple juice all over it over the years and it's fine, but it's definitely got some crunchy spots or something. Just let people know. And reflect that in the price as well. So just be sure to do that. I have definitely, like, there are some pieces of furniture that I have sold for more than I expected to sell. So in our process of listing things on Facebook, we have actually, this is a tip that if you are actually using Facebook Marketplace in your moving journey as well, I would recommend, if you're able to, list things like further, like as far in advance as you can, especially if you can deal without those pieces of furniture or items in your house that you're trying to get rid of. List them in advance at maybe a slightly higher price than you maybe think it might be worth, because you never know. Like some things I'm like, I personally would never pay $50 for this chair today, but then lo and behold, I post it at $50 and people are like, yes, I really want that chair for $50. And even though like I go through and I'm like, hey, there's literally some paint splotches here on the bottom and all this stuff. Anyway, true story. We sold some chairs that I listed them. I honestly even think I listed them too low. We had so many people asking about these chairs and I was just shocked. And anyway, it ended up working out slightly in our benefit. Because we got much more than I had anticipated. And I was kind of looking at it as like I wouldn't personally pay this, but somebody else might. And so you have to kind of feel it out. I also like to look on Facebook Marketplace to compare like what are other people selling similar items at, and can I come in a little bit higher maybe if it's a nicer product, or should I come in just slightly lower if it's something I really need to get rid of? So another one was like this bike rack thing that we were selling. Everybody was trying to sell theirs for like $30. So I came in at $20 and it sold that same day and it was great. And so that was perfect. So just kind of feeling it out. And this is just something that over time I've learned because I've been using Facebook Marketplace for a long time. But if you do have the opportunity to list things further in advance, like we started listing some pieces of furniture and other items from our household like 2 months before we were actually moving, just because we're like, let's see, like if someone will pay $100 for this table that we don't think is worth that much. But you never know. I mean, they could come and say, no, I don't want this table. And I have actually had people come and look at stuff and they're like, actually, never mind. This isn't what I expected. And sometimes too, like for another piece of furniture, I'm trying to think of what it was that they came and got. Someone came and they saw it and they're like, I was expecting this to be just like slightly nicer. Would you take like $10 off? And at that point too, that's actually a good negotiating tip. If you are trying to buy something, most likely that person who's trying to sell it also wants this thing gone. And the fact that you're already there at their house means that you are more likely to actually go home with that item. And so, yeah, when somebody to me is like, will you take $10 off? And I'll take it. And I'm like, yeah, great, please. Because if I say no to you now, then that means I have to kind of go back to the drawing board and try to get somebody else to show up at my house to pick up this thing, which in certain cases, I have just been so frustrated that I'm like, I feel like this thing should actually be super easy to sell. And yet I have 10 people messaging me and everybody's ghosting me, and it's a real thing. If you've dealt with Facebook Marketplace, you definitely know. I'd love to know your stories of selling things and ghosting people or not. And I hope that if you are buying something on Facebook Marketplace that you are not being that person, because that's so frustrating. And I try to, on my part too, like when I am a buyer, I will let people know, especially like if I have told people I'm going to show up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry this came up. The other day I was supposed to pick up, this is so silly. I was supposed to pick up like a handheld frother, like for mixing drinks and like lattes and stuff, but I use it for mixing my electrolytes into water because it just works so much better than like a spoon or a shaker bottle and stuff. And so anyway, ours broke. And they're usually $20 or so, like $15 to $20 on Amazon. And so they're not like expensive, but there's tons of people selling them on Facebook Marketplace for like $5 to $10. So I'm like, that's like a 50% or more discount on these things. And I would much rather do it that way, again, because it's like saving the planet and saving money, and it's just good. And we're all helping each other out. Anyway,
all of the stupid frothers that have been listed on Facebook Marketplace have been much farther from my house than I like going, especially for something that's like worth only $5. I'm like, man, the gas alone to get out there is not gonna make this very cost effective. So I was supposed to pick up a frother the other day, and I thought it was closer. Like when she gave me the address, I kind of just briefly glanced at it, and I thought it was closer than it actually was. But then when it came time to like needing to go and I was going to pick it up on the way going somewhere else, I realized it was going to take me like 20 minutes off my path, and like I was going to get to where I needed to go later, like 30 minutes past when I was supposed to or whatever. And I thought it was more along my path. But anyway, this specific neighborhood is further out. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I felt really bad because I actually, myself too, I was excited to get this frother. Anyway, I did message her and I said, I am so sorry. This is just not going to work out and I can't come get it today. Maybe it's still listed. I'll go look. There will be other frothers. Now, the other thing that I want to give you a tip on if you are trying to get rid of your stuff for getting ready to move and everything. If you're not able to sell it, I highly recommend still trying to give it away for free and wasting less of your time going to the thrift stores, which can be nice to just go and dump everything off. But if you're in the process of like weeding things out over time, sometimes it's hard to like wait to go, and so you're trying to make several trips and it's just kind of obnoxious. One thing I actually highly recommend is making sure you're a part of some like free groups in your area, which are just like free swap groups where people post things and they say, yeah, this is for free, come get it, and they'll post usually their crossroads. You message them, they give you their address, then you go pick whatever that thing is up for free. And I have really loved these Facebook free groups for both getting stuff as well as getting rid of stuff. And we've gotten everything from like shoes and clothes for our foster kids to like toys for Malachi. I got a free stroller. I actually think I already mentioned that earlier, but totally is like, I'm so excited about that. Because again, that can be hundreds of dollars. And even a table on Facebook Marketplace totally for free. And we refinished it and it turned out pretty nice. Anyway, you can get a lot of stuff because people sometimes are in a pickle and they just want things gone. And so this can also be of benefit to you, because if you're like weeding through things and you're like, okay, I just went through all of my shoes, for example, which is legit. I just did that the other day. I have a whole pile of shoes that I'm getting rid of, and they are definitely not worthy enough for, I would not list those because they definitely are not in the greatest condition. But they still have some life in them, and they might be of value to somebody else who really just needs a pair of shoes. So instead of bringing them to the thrift store, I just simply take a picture of them, make a little description, and post them in these groups. And then it's kind of like first come, first serve. Whoever can come and grab them the quickest can come and take them. And so this has been really great. I also really like this because I feel like it helps the community a little bit more than going to the thrift store. Because you think, if I brought those shoes to the thrift store, I'm getting rid of them for free, so I'm not making any money. But now, Sally over here, who really wanted those pair of shoes, she actually has to go and buy them from the thrift store. So instead of just giving them directly to her for free, because in my case, I'm like, I don't care if they're sold or not. I just want to get rid of them. So it's definitely of benefit because then, you're not making all the trips to the thrift store, and then you're finding people who directly just want them, and it is helpful for them. So anyway, that's been huge for me, and I've really loved using those Facebook free groups. I'd love to hear your tips on using Facebook, either for moving or just finding good deals or selling stuff. I seriously really do enjoy Facebook Marketplace. I've put a few of these tips actually into a kind of like a PDF guide on. The guide itself is actually on how to afford a non-toxic lifestyle. If you're new around here, I really love doing things kind of more non-toxic, holistic, natural, and sometimes that can be slightly more expensive when you are trying to do your best to afford like organic foods and things like that. And so using Facebook Marketplace has actually helped save me a lot of money in order to dedicate more money towards things like that. So buying used items instead of buying things brand new allows me to save more money, and then I can reprioritize and dedicate that money towards buying organic groceries or the like non-toxic skincare or toothpaste, which tends to be slightly more expensive. And so that's one way that I've just been starting to like shift the way I spend my money, is just finding things for reduced price on Facebook. And so this guide gives you tips on how to afford things like that, and even some other tips along that. But there's actually like a whole section in the back of the guide that helps walk you through being a really good buyer and how to find stuff on Facebook Marketplace when you're kind of going through this journey and just trying to afford stuff that means more to you than and really just kind of reprioritizing the way that you spend your money, so that way you're saving more money and then can spend it on things that actually matter to you. So even if it's not like a non-toxic lifestyle, there's definitely some tips in there that can be beneficial to you if you are just trying to figure out how to afford things that might cost a little bit extra. So anyway, that's kind of it. I originally, when I started this video, was not planning on talking all about Facebook, but then I was like, this could be really helpful, and I hope it is helpful for you. So let me know by liking this video. That's helpful for me, just knowing that some of these like more vlog style things that I'm doing are beneficial. But I'd also really love to hear from you. So in the comments, like share whether, if there was a certain tip that stood out to you, or even if there's a tip that I wasn't aware of and that you have that you want to share. I really would love to hear it. And it helps us as a community all grow together and save more money and just be really good stewards of the resources that God has given us. And so, I'd love you to know your thoughts and opinions on Facebook, and be sure to subscribe. I have been putting together some other videos for you on our moving. The next video that's going to come out is actually all about our moving options and the 3 things that we're considering in order to get all of our stuff out to Michigan. So stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe. That's coming out soon. See ya.